Hello everyone. I am Rish, your host for the show Roast B2B Ads. And today I have with me Elle Grossenbacher. Hi, Elle, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Can't wait for this one. It's going to be fun.
Lovely. So maybe Elle, we could start with your quick intro. What you do and how did you land into product marketing?
Yeah, I love this. So I have been in marketing for my entire career, and I realized very early on I was working at smaller companies, and once I realized and got familiar with what the product marketing role was, I realized that I had actually been doing it my entire career. I just didn't know that that's what it was called. I think that's really common, actually, for those who fall into product marketing. And then I just felt more those parts of my jobs, of the previous jobs that I had. I just felt so drawn to it. So as I continue to grow in my career, those were the type of opportunities that I was looking for. So fast forward to today, I really honed my product marketing experience at companies like Cisco and Twilio, and a few startups along the way. But I just fell so in love with it that I started a podcast in product marketing. It's called Product Marketing Adventures, where each episode I bring in an amazing PMM and they talk through a case study example of their work. Plus, we do a messaging critique. So very similar to this roast, which I'm super excited about. But that's who I am and what I'm working on right now.
Thank you. For people who don't know me, I am Rish. I run ContentBeta. We are a creative as a service for B2B SaaS. Most marketing teams use us to run more marketing experiments without burning out their team. But more about that later. Let's start with this show. So the agenda of this show is like a couple of items. One is and the main question is for you that why do B2B ads are boring? Why do they fail to convert? Then we tear down live ads. Now this may sound like a roast show, but it's more on the education side. We're not trying to make fun of ad creators or fun of brand. It's mostly what do we learn from it and giving our perspective that what we would have changed or what is good about this we could adopt. And last is about rapid fire rounds, mostly for everybody on the show, and closing notes about what we learned from this session. This session is going to be 25 minutes long. Elle, are you ready?
Let's do it.
So maybe start with the first thing. Why do you think B2B ads and B2B creators are boring? I mean, a lot of people have coined this word B2B as boring to boring. Why do you think that's true?
Yeah. So if I think back to my first exposure earlier on in my career and when I first started to get more exposure to B2B marketing and B2B ads, I think my younger self, I thought that I had to be more like professional and more technical. And that really watered down the storytelling and the creativity. Now, I think that's just an experience from maybe someone who's a bit more junior. As I grew in my career, I realized that the challenges with B2B ads and B2B storytelling altogether are so much broader than that. And when you really look at why some ads are boring, could be any number of reasons. But in my experience, the most common reasons are either the targeting, it's not targeted narrowly enough, like it's too broadly focused. So the story ends up trying to cater to too many people and it ends up landing with nobody. So there's that happens a lot. And then a second reason is that you don't really have a strong understanding of who your target audience is to begin with. So end up with a similar situation in the first place. And then a third reason is that you're trying to you're trying to cater to too many internal stakeholders to make someone's internally championing their story rather than one that's been validated and starts with a customer. So it really boils down to those things in my experience.
Nice. Let's go to the first ad. And this one is by RevGate. It's a static ad. I'll let you take the first shot.
Okay, 2026 will be brutal for AI startups if they ignore pricing. Okay, so here's what I like about this. I like that they have identified their target or their what I think is their ICP, AI startups. I also like that they have put a light on the problem, which is pricing. And pricing is really a problem for many people, but they are specifically talking about AI startups. So for me personally, the success of, I think this is a great ad, but the success of it will determine how well this ad aligns to the product offering and the overall messaging and storytelling of the product itself. And then B, how the context around this ad. So what channels are they looking for? How are they doing their targeting? And then as someone who may click the ad, what happens next? What is the next experience for someone who is clicking through the ad? And is it compelling enough to make me take the next step? That is what the obviously campaigners' desire would be, right? To move further into through the campaign process. So I'll kind of pause there and see what you think.
I love the hook. It at least makes me think. I mean, I'm sure it's targeted towards founders who have AI startups, maybe somebody from Y Combinator or some investor portfolio like Stars or something. Something which I felt. I mean, of course, I thought it's something about pricing, but I didn't know what RevGate is promising to me. I just know that hey, something is brutal. So a full point for curiosity, but somehow if they would have told me that hey, this is what you'll get it after you click on this ad or what's on the other side of this page, I think that would have been more convincing.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see like if there were other versions of this ad,
with how they're testing this messaging.
Yeah.
Let's go. This one is by Storylane. I love Storylane.
Yeah, I do too.
What do you think about this ad?
It's funny. It hurts my eyes. So I want to look away because it hurts my eyes. I think it's funny. And, you definitely get the humor points for me. Because I know Storylane, this would be a really fun, humorous ad for again, it's all about targeting and channels. If someone has already seen maybe a first set of assets or artwork or ads or content, whatever it is, and then this is part of that sequence, and it all had like a similar funny theme to it, I could see this working really well. So for me, again, maybe context is going to be a theme here because for me, it's all about context. So anyway, I think it's funny. It hurts my eyes. Maybe it's kind of supposed to because it has a physical reaction, but that's just me.
No, I think it's attracting, right? I mean, at least you are. I mean, normally I tell people who ask me that what kind of ad should I say, I say normally do like a pattern breaker, right? Don't if your post or your content looks like everybody else on the feed, it's easy to miss. You can't miss this creative, right? And at least you'll pause to see what is this about because it's not usual like your previous post or the post after this one. So I think it's
100%.
So they make me stop the scroll. Yeah, of course, context matters. What is there in text above this creative matters a lot. But I think I really like this as a scroll stopper.
I also would love it as a full campaign. Like, what other optical illusions could you create as, accompanying assets, right? That have a similar vibe. I think that'd be really fun.
This one is actually a display ad. Not even a display ad. It's about a metro station in UK.
Yep, looks like it.
Number one investment platform in the UK.
Okay, so given the placement, I'm assuming ICP are working professionals who want a place to invest. The fact that they used a proof point here, it provides some validation for me. So, it's certainly something that I would look at. I think it's a bit busy with the chart and the graph. also the thing with like numbers and value and that kind of thing is that like if this is supposed to be something that's truly reflective, it's hard for me to tell. I can't see. It looks like there's some like text in the graph. I see the big number, but I can't see like the smaller numbers underneath it. So I think the problem if you're using something like that, then like those numbers could change so fast and so quickly. Maybe that's part of the point, but or maybe it's just an example of. So I guess like it's hard for me to understand like what they're trying to say like with the graph. I truly just can't really see it. I think there's like a little bit of like blur on it, but I like that there's a proof point. I wish that they used something else to graphically represent whatever they're trying to do. I think if this is catered towards like working professionals or consumers, I would have leaned heavily into emotion rather than like this feels a little bit too B2B to me. Oh my gosh, isn't that funny? Because we're roasting boring ads, but yet I'm saying this it's like feels boring. So and also because it's so dark, I just don't really I probably wouldn't even see it. Like it's too much black. So it like I think I would probably just gloss over it if I were standing, in this metro station or, unless I was sitting right in front of it. So I'll pause there. That's my reaction.
I think it's somehow probably, I'm sure they're using it somewhere. I didn't even see which company are we talking about. If something is number one, who's number one? Maybe they have like a campaign where they've done the entire metro with this, and maybe this could be one of those ads. But if
Yeah.
I would at least put the logo or the platform name. And second, I think number one, maybe maybe I hate number one, but number one sometimes always makes me feel off because everybody claims to be number one in whatever category they are in. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe my national inclination. I don't want to go towards number one. Number one is not the first thing I look at.
Maybe they did that intentionally. Like it's a
Mm.
huge creative miss, but maybe they did that so it makes you look it up. And like to your point, if they did a lot of branding around this, but intentionally left off the logo because they wanted you to go look it up. Because if you constantly are bombarded with these proof points of like, we're number one, we're number one, we're number one, if you don't already know, I would guess if I was in an ICP and someone said, we're number one, I should already know who you are. Otherwise, like, I'm not your ICP. So either it was like super creative because it forces their ICP to actually look them up, because it forces people to look it up, or they totally bombed and and they left out their name and they just spent a bunch of money for nothing.
I hope that's not true, but let's go to the next one. So this one is a video. I'll play the video and then we talk.
Go beyond the open web. Access premium business data in natural conversation. Right where you already work. Get straight to the decision makers. Your chat, your prospects, your move. This is Vibe Prospecting. Professional prospecting for everyone. Try it free today in your favorite chat.
What do you think about this?
I'm trying. It's hard for me not to comment on creative, but it's way too busy. Way too busy, way too fast. It feels kind of like an explainer video. Like I don't really understand like what's the pain here that you're solving. And I would imagine what I'm getting out of it is that like it's an AI chat tool that like probably connects to my systems. And I can like prospect to it rather than like scrubbing lists or LinkedIn or whatever. I can just like give it company names or titles and it can come back with real people. But I just felt like it wasn't really hitting on a pain but also didn't really hit on a benefit either. It just feels like it's riding a trend of AI and vibe coding. And I don't know how compelling that is. It's not, I guess maybe like if it were me, I probably would have gone through a different angle rather than, and when I say different angle, I would have either focused on like a benefit, an outcome, or a pain rather than what feels more like an explainer video to me.
Uh, I mean, keeping the product's value prop, I mean, vibe prospecting doesn't seem right. I mean, vibe coding because you make coding easy for non-coders. I don't know how you make
Right.
prospecting easy for non-prospectors. I don't know what is it about. But
Yeah.
keeping that aside, I think I really read what you're saying. It has to hit a problem. What problem is the current way of prospecting is, and tell them how I'm beating this problem.
Yeah. And I don't like that they say it's for everyone, because if you say it's for everyone, are you a consumer? What is this, like soda pop? Like what do you mean you're for everyone? Like everybody has an ICP. Come on. Like, so yeah. Unfortunately, vibe prospecting, I think you need to revisit your approach.
What do you think about so this one is really well developed and well created in terms of visuals, right? I mean, it's more like a very high-end motion graphics explainer video. What are your thoughts? Should ads look like really polished, or do you like ads which are slightly scrappy? I mean, you've seen all DTC ads are all scrappy, right? The UGC ads
Yeah.
are they are not so well edited intentionally. What are your
I
thoughts?
think it could
A
go,
versus B.
yeah, I think it could go either way, honestly. So it really comes down to what is your end goal? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? And what is your differentiator? If your differentiator is you have some super slick, like really incredible user experience that's like, you know, a novelty in your field, then yeah, I think you should do a super polished, you know, show it off. Absolutely. But if your differentiator is more like, you know, your business model or a feature or, you know, a business outcome, you know, that you're able to achieve, then I'd lean a little bit more on the scrappy side. There are pros and cons to both. One of the pros to the scrappier approach is obviously authenticity. And so if you're trying to capture emotion, I would lean more towards the scrappy approach, because that emotion will come off more genuine and authentic if it's not hyper edited versus if you're trying to show off a super polished, beautiful tool. Then you want the super highly edited version.
I like how you position. So if you want to show a specific emotion out of your creative, go scrappy. So you look authentic, you look real.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like your framework.
Let's do it.
This one is by a newbie called Trust. Your time is valuable, spend it wisely.
I don't like this at all. And the reason why I don't like it is because, first of all, I have no idea who Grasp is. I have no idea what you do. This feels like a meme like a grandma would post on Facebook. Like it doesn't, like it's just yeah, okay. Like that's true for everybody. What does that have to do with anything? So again, I'm coming back to context. Like you're not giving me enough context to have curiosity, to know who you are, to know why this is relevant or meaningful to me. You're kind of stating something in a way that's even a little condescending. Like, what are you telling me, that I don't know that my time is valuable? Of course I know that. Like, you know, so it's just a little, I don't know. It just feels like maybe a waste. And if I compare this to maybe the very first ad we looked at, said a problem, it said an ICP. So whatever else it said, like that was the context around it. So yes, maybe it didn't say anything about the company or the product specifically, but there was enough context for me to have curiosity. This just, you know, I either don't see it at all or it's annoying. That's maybe I'm being too harsh.
I checked out while you were talking. I checked out what Grasp does, because this creative didn't make any sense. So it's like an AI analyst for finance professionals. So maybe it's helping them do research, and they're trying to say that, hey, analyst, your time is valuable, spend it wisely. But yeah, I think it's offensive. If I'm an analyst,
It is.
they have offended me really well.
Yeah, my husband is in that line of work and he knows that. Does not need to be reminded of that. And I think there's probably better ways that you can resonate with that ICP.
Let's go to the next one. This one is again a video.
Great.
Behold the worthy souls who seek the post of accountant.
Huzzah! And how many dwell within our legal borders?
One, my liege.
A beast?
With thumbs, my lord.
See,
Okay.
This brand adds a lot of time. They're all AI generated, but they have a plot.
Yes. So I'm going to start with, I'm not sure what RemoFirst does other than like at the very end, obviously some kind of like a global employment process, I'm guessing platform. I love that it was funny. What I got out of it was that like they're obviously trying to have some kind of maybe pain that some methods of hiring are, outdated. What I will say is that like I almost like I didn't catch, there was some kind of writing at the end and I didn't see it because it was so fast and there was talking going on, and because they started with like the plot and the story and the characters talking, I missed what it said on the screen. And then I just think they're putting too much work on the customer to try to understand and make sense of the ad itself. And going back to people's time is valuable. I've always said this to my team at any time that we're building out, whether it's ad campaigns, whether it's messaging, whether it's, a blog, whatever it is, don't make the customer work so hard. Don't put the onus on them to try to figure out what you do, what's your value, like what is this? Like I think when it's putting too much work on the customer, they're just going to move on, especially in something like a 30-second ad. So yeah, it was kind of funny and entertaining, but if it's not obvious enough, then you're just going to get a lot of impressions. That's my take.
I think the plot, like I was talking about the scroll stopping thing, it does it really well.
Yeah.
But I guess if it's okay. The job is for this ad to get some attention. I think it does a decent job.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't redo anything for this.
Yeah, I think I might just give a little bit more time for if possible, give a little bit more time for like, they said what they do or like the problem they were solving, or I think but it was just flashed on the screen so fast that like I got like the first word or maybe first two words and then it went away. Because again, my brain was like competing with like listening to the characters talking and trying to get the punchline of the joke while I'm trying to understand like, oh, here's the technical piece that I actually need to know about the company. So I thought it was funny, probably like almost perfect, but just a little bit more time at the end for me to see. It was right before they showed the last, the logo and the website. Right before that, there was like a line that was like probably the most important part.
Let's go to the next one. So I'll skip the rapid fire Q&A. That was more for the live audience.
Sure.
I'll go to the next ad.
Okay, so it's just a GIF.
Dated. It's just a GIF with
just a GIF
with an infographic. It's slightly dated. It's 2020,
which is fine. Doesn't matter if it's a little old. I don't dislike GIFs. I prefer GIFs. This is clearly what I'm guessing. This ad was maybe like on. Here's where I could picture this ad working well. So I know I've heard of WalkMe. I honestly forgot what they do. I know I've heard of them. I've seen their ad. I've seen their logo many times. I've probably been on their website. I'm guessing this ad was probably placed in a publication of some kind or channel that had HR professionals. That is the only context with which I can understand maybe this ad being okay. But it doesn't, like, it's just an interesting stat. Like, and it doesn't really tell me what to do next. If you're going to go as far as to do a GIF, why not have it flip into like the so what? Because right now it's just giving me just a piece of data. It's not really, it's like, okay, yeah. And, I wish it would have done something.
So you're saying 24% are failure, then what is WalkMe helping me do to avoid this?
Yeah, like it has the little like loop-de thing, the little animation. Why didn't they just take it to the next step and like tell me the so what? Like, what does WalkMe have to do with it? I wish it would have done that. And again, context, like where did you place this ad? I'm guessing it was in like an HR channel, HR publication, like that placement of that ad. I'm guessing because WalkMe, I think caters to like far more than just HR.
Yeah. And this one will wrap it up. This one is the last one. This is like an Instagram story ad by Perplexity. I'm not sure if you have the context. Do you understand this ad?
I have seen like Instagram sponsored story ads before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why Perplexity would be doing an ad-free, YouTube ad.
So actually, yeah. So that's a great answer because most people don't know, right? I mean, what is Perplexity with ad-free YouTube? I'm a user of Comet, and probably I could appreciate it. So Comet is a browser by Perplexity, and they do not let any ads come in, either Google ads, Meta ads, YouTube ads, right? So that's how they are trying to promote ad-free YouTube. But I know this because I'm a heavy user of Comet, their own browser.
Okay, I wish they would have had the Comet browser logo somewhere, and I wish they would have adjusted the copy to say, like YouTube, but without ads. Like, just something like it's almost the same amount of text, but a little bit more context to help me understand. Maybe though, because again, context and targeting, maybe because Instagram and social media platforms are generally pretty creepy, maybe they know who has been on the site or who has seen it or had exposure. So maybe I've never seen an ad like this because I've never had exposure to it. But maybe you have because you have had exposure to it. So they're trying to pull you back in. And they have creepy data like that. So I'm not going to harp on it too much because of, again, I think like context and targeting matters so much. I wish it would have, like, if this was displayed to someone who had no idea what this was, I wish it would have just like tweaked the text a little bit and then like shown their browser logo. But just my thoughts.
Yep. I have a couple of more ads. You have some time? Maybe we could do one more ad.
Yeah, let's do one more. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do last one. This one is by Sourcix. Everybody gets AI except procurement.
Okay.
Offensive.
I know. It's kind of funny though. Like it's kind of funny, but like so I'm so curious what that means. Okay, so full disclosure, everywhere I've worked, procurement is awful. I remember working at a couple different places and telling my manager, like in my like one-on-ones or my, performance review or whatever, I'd be like, I've never been happier in my job except procurement. Like it was so painful to work with procurement. And part of that though is like because there are like legal and security, like there are all these like layers of before you can procure something. So I don't know what Sourcix is. I don't know what I'm guessing some kind of like procurement software or platform. I'm guessing. Yeah. Maybe they're saying that because they're offering some kind of like AI thing or, they're clearly getting at something that their ICP would understand. Like someone who works in procurement probably is like, oh, everybody's getting these AI tools, but I'm not allowed to use them because I have all these rules and regulations that I have to follow. So that makes using AI tools much harder. Unless there's kind of like, some specially made AI tool. So maybe that's what this is. Anyway, I think it's like probably a tongue-in-cheek kind of joke, maybe an inside joke with like procurement professionals. I think it's funny, you know, grabbing obviously like a popular pop culture meme. So that's my hot take on this one.
I think if it's offensive, I'll normally skip it. I'm sure it's targeted towards procurement professionals, unless I don't know who else doesn't like procurement. Maybe they're showing them that. But I think there's no CTA, and nothing. I think it's maybe somebody did a lousy job.
Well, I wonder though. So I guess the way that I interpreted this, okay. So as a product marketer, like there are things that only other product marketers would understand. Like were there frustrations about our job that we're annoyed by and kind of angry by, but I can't really complain about it. So I interpreted this as maybe that for procurement. Like in product marketing, like it's really hard for product marketing to get a seat at the table. So we always complain to other product marketers. PMMs never get a seat at the table. It shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. We have to fight to get a seat at the table. So I interpreted this ad as being something like that, but the equivalent for procurement, like a frustration that only procurement professionals would understand. That's how I interpreted this. But maybe that wasn't right. Yeah, because to be fair, I think their target audience is procurement. Maybe it's not. I think the challenge is that you don't have AI. Maybe it's not. But that's how I interpreted this ad.
I think with this we end the roast of the ads. I think the last couple of minutes, I just wanted to take us through what are your key takeaways from this session? What's your message to the audience?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the context. Like, what is the context with which your ad is going to exist, and what is that is only as your ICP or whoever your target audience is only going to understand as far as what context you give them. So, is it placed in a publication that is specifically for that channel, and then? Or is it like on a subway? Is it on a billboard? Is it on LinkedIn? Like think of the context with which it surrounds itself in, and then whatever additional context you give them. Do you drop your differentiator? Do you drop the problem you're solving? Do you drop the benefit? Are you listing or naming an ICP? The more context you give them, the better they'll understand, but you obviously don't want to, give them so much context that it's overwhelming. So there's a little bit of a balance to it, but I think you get what I mean. That's takeaway number one. And then takeaway number two is just like targeting. Make sure you have a good understanding of the target audience, their care-abouts, their pains, and the emotion. What emotions are they experiencing, and how well are you able to resonate with those emotions?
My two takeaways are, I think what you said, the first thing, know your audience really well and create whatever ad creative you're trying to create around their problems. And don't do same creative for everyone, right? Because your product cannot be for everyone. Your product at least the messaging caters to one specific audience. And I think second, you have to if you want to touch somebody emotional, make sure that the creative is also seems authentic. It cannot be like super polished, and you want somebody to feel emotional about it.
Yeah, big one.
All right. Thank you so much, Elle, for taking our time. I'm sorry for the technical glitch, but what I'll also do is we got like 28 signups for this, and I'll send everybody a copy over the weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Rish. This was really fun. I hope everyone enjoys it. And hey, comment if you have any other differing of opinions.